Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. What did I do to my screen? Oh my goodness. So for those of you that use a Mac, and if somebody can tell me how to keep my screen from constantly zooming in, I'd greatly appreciate that, because my screen is constantly zooming in and I use the magic mouse and all those kind of things. But I digress. So we've bellied up to the bar again today, folks. It is what is today? May 20 something or another. I don't know. 22nd. Look at that. It is May 22nd. So we're almost done with the month of May, folks. April showers bringing May flowers. And here in the great upstate area of New York, it's just bringing the heat. And to bring the heat with me, coming from Maine, they're probably still got snow out there, I expect. You know, it's already still snowing out there. Joining us from Maine, and she tried to help me before the show, and y'all know I butcher names every time.
Too. It's okay.
It's Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino.
You got it. Close enough. It's perfect. Guarino. Yeah. Good job. And there's no snow here. It was like 85 here today.
Look, my wife's like, stop zooming. I'm not zooming. The screen zoomed in. I don't know why it did that.
I did figure out how to share this with my audience. So it's
did you?
Yeah.
I see it. It popped up on my thing. Yeah. So
hi, everybody.
And that's what I tell people all the time. Like, sidebar, we're going to talk StreamYard for half a second here. That's one of the things I love about StreamYard is, as a content creator with podcasts, if my guests can share it to their audience, we just took this audience. I think between my two platforms, I'm probably somewhere around like 9,000 followers. You've got 150 some followers, 50,000 followers just on Instagram. Yeah. This just exploded instantaneously. Which is so cool to me, you know.
I put it on Facebook. Sorry,
great.
I didn't put it on Instagram. It only gave me two. It only lets you do two.
Oh, is it only two right now?
Yeah, I only got two. So I picked Facebook and Facebook, my two Facebook accounts. So, but I'll share it everywhere. It's fun. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and we appreciate having you. And before I forget, you got to have your applause. You know what I mean? You got to have your applause in all this. So let's go ahead and get some house cleaning done here, folks. As always, over my right shoulder, we got the big board for Sticker and a Cause. You've got something you believe in. You've got a podcast. You've got social media. You've got a band. I don't care what it is. You're a stand-up comedian. We've got one of those over here, Tim Miller from Montana. You've got something you support and believe in, and you've got a sticker. Reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, X, our TikTok, even our website, theabovethebarpodcast.com. You reach out to me. Let me know what you got going on. We'll read about it live here on the air so everybody can know. That's how this grows. This is how you grow. We grow our audiences together. Also, folks, now I'm looking here. You're in Maine. So I'm going to guess over your left shoulder, that window has 2-inch wood blinds.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Okay. So that's perfect, because our sponsors are our Budget Blinds of East Greenbush and Budget Blinds of Hudson and Coxsackie, New York. Budget Blinds is your largest window treatment company in North America, between Canada and the U.S., specializing in drapery, blinds, shades. Folks, they even got lines that do pillows and stuff like that, that you can match your drapery with your pillows. If you need that much zhuzh in your life, they'll do it all for you. So as always, folks, reach out to Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Budget Blinds of Hudson and Coxsackie, New York, or whatever your local Budget Blinds are. Tell them you're there to belly up to the bar. They're going to give you a 15% discount. I don't know about the ones outside of my area. The ones that sponsor us will give you 15. I bet you, though, if you tell them, hey, I heard this guy, Sean Murphy, he said I can get 15% discount because I heard about Budget Blinds.
I bet they do it.
I bet you they would still do it. So make sure you reach out to them, let them know what you got going. You like that I could just by looking at them, I could see they were 2-inch wood blinds.
Yeah, that's good. I was wondering, I'm like, your window treatments.
I know them a little bit.
Yeah. This one needs to be replaced. I have a cat in this room it's a rescue cat.
Oh.
And she chewed the cord, so you can't open the blind. So, hey, I'm in the market for some.
You're in the market. Well, you know what? It also brings up one last thing. And for those of you that didn't know it, as of 1 June, if you had a situation like Elizabeth and you had a corded blind, you might as well go ahead and take it down and throw it away because you cannot replace the cords on those anymore. As of 1 June, it is a federal law that all corded window treatments are outlawed in the United States.
Go like this.
Yeah, it's all cordless. It's all motorized. Some of the companies are doing, I don't know what you would call them, almost like a pump wand where it's a wand and you pull it once and the blind will come down. But to put it up, you actually have to pull it multiple times. Yeah. It'll push the blind up.
Well, the cat was ahead of the law.
See that?
It chewed
the cat knew.
Cat knew.
The cat knew. And look, folks, before we get started with Elizabeth, if you're finding us through Elizabeth or Elizabeth through us, please take a moment, like, share, follow, do all those kind of things. It may sound cliche. It may sound like your kids' YouTube channels that they watch, but trust me, it really does make a difference. If you want to know what Elizabeth's got going on, you want to do your own little research on her, you can always check her out at besteveryou.com. Each word spelled out: best, B-E-S-T, ever, E-V-E-R, U-Y-O-U.com. And you can see all the things she's got going on. But all right. And Nate says no Steelers stickers allowed. I agree with Nate. We don't do Steelers around here. This is Ravens country. So
yeah, which is I was a Browns fan a while back.
Oh.
So you're Brown. But being a Browns fan, that's a hard thing to be. So not anymore. I'm a
you can accept it now. I mean, they put it together this past year. I'll give it to them. I will.
Remember when the Browns became the Ravens? I'm like, oh no, what are you doing?
Well, I always tell people, a lot of people don't know this, but before the Baltimore Orioles were the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
Do you know who they were?
No.
The St. Louis Browns.
Really?
So they up to 1953 and then 54 they came to Baltimore. They were the St. Louis Browns. So I always say if any other cities have a team named the Browns, we're coming for them.
They're coming.
We're coming for them. They'll be ours before
Great rivalry.
It's said and done. But let me make sure I got some of this right. So let's see here. You're a CEO. You're a founder of your own network, best-selling author, host of your own podcast, Forbes Council member, certified master coach, advocate for food allergies, and a champion of gratitude-based belief system. Did I get it all right?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Not really. I'm a mom.
I was about to say.
Mom, wife of over 25 years, and mom of 4 sons who are 22, 24, 26, and 28. That's probably the first thing, and then everything else comes after. I'll be 55 this year, and so yeah, there's a lot going on.
You're a busy lady. So
yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself, Elizabeth. I mean, you do have all these accolades, all these things you've done, but let's kind of roll. I want to roll the clock back a little bit for a moment here. And where does all this start from? I mean, what gets you on this path?
Well, the writing starts as a little kid. I always loved to be a writer and read and books and all that stuff. So that's lifelong. The whole self-help aspect of me came into play in about 2008 or so. Up to that point, I had been all in the financial services industry. So kind of like this half of me is financial services and this half is self-help, and they somehow blend together. But I thought when our littlest one went to first grade, I'd go back into the financial services industry and get all suited up and go back in. And it turned out to be just a huge bummer. It was not fun. It was really hard to be at work and have small children. And it just wasn't fun. And it wasn't worth it. So I closed my door and I'm like, there's got to be a lot of people struggling with this, trying to be in, 5 places at once and being stuck at work. And so I wrote out Best Ever Me, Best Ever You. And I'm like, oh, Best Ever You, that's kind of catchy. And I quit my job on the spot. I went home and I I quit and went home. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And I was met with, "What'd you do? You're
I'm
crazy."
about to say, what
You
was
know,
your husband's response to this?
my husband was cool. My husband's like, "Yep, okay." I said, "No, I'm going to start a website. I'm going to write books, do some type of radio show, TV, something like that. I don't know where it's all going yet, but I got to go for a minute. I got to go up the street and get this domain registered with my friend up the street who did websites and things like that." And at the time, it was back in 2008, and it just kind of started from there. But I was met with an intense amount of criticism, other than my own immediate family. Even my mom was like, "What are you doing?" Kind of thing. So, but yeah, people thought I was crazy, and I'm like, "No, I'm going to do this," and here we are.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. I can't think of her. I'm horrible with remembering names. I had a guest on not long ago, and she was a TV executive, like legit, like running long-running sitcom type TV, and realized that her calling was to work with children in the foster system, so that when they did end up that first couple nights that they got blown into the foster system, that they could be like, hey, they had something. And she was met with a lot of criticism. But one of the things she said, I'm curious for yourself, she said her hardest critics were other women, almost feeling like somehow she had betrayed them by following this calling instead of staying in that corporate breaking the glass ceiling type world. How was that for you?
The same. You get met with a lot of criticism from other women when you choose to work from home or stay at home with your children, or do something that other people think, you're supposed to be doing that you're not, or don't want to, or whatever. But I think it's really important to scale that back. And that's kind of what all of my books are about, are paying attention to your heart, your truths, and your energy, and finding what's right for you. And I often say, get a good set of earplugs and some bubble wrap. It's real bumpy and noisy out there, and you got to just listen to yourself and what you want. And I don't think people can make those decisions for you. And sometimes you change up friends. Even you have to get your support crew by you. But I think the nastiest call I actually got was from a guy who right in, I had Best Ever You and a couple other Best Ever type domains. And he called me up on the phone. He's like, "You don't understand who I am. I'm the guy that owns all the best ever domains. You can't have Best Ever You. You need to give that to me." And I'm like, "Oh,
really?"
Oh yeah. He was furious on the phone. And I said, "No." And as he's talking, I'm like having my friend register it for like 30 years, doubling down on, on my concept here, and I know I did not give it to him, but when he got so mad at me, he was just screaming at me and stuff. And he said, "You're nothing but a washed up, blah, blah, blah soccer mom." And I was like, I couldn't think of too much. I went, "Dude, my kids don't even play soccer."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So people can be really nasty when you're trying to do something that doesn't
fit their narrative,
fit the norm, fit their image, fit their thoughts, fit what they're comfortable with. We all walk around with our own, experiences up to this point. And so, oh, wow.
And I see some of your followers popping up here. Folks, if you're following through Elizabeth's page, thank you for joining us here on the Above the Bar podcast. And again, if you want to know more about what she's got going on, besteveryou.com, which we know has a 30-year lifespan on it. And I hope she renews it for another 30 years. And ha to the person that didn't get it. And, some of the books that, if you're wondering about some of these books, you've got Percolate, the Change Guidebook, the Success Guidebook. Am I missing anything?
And then kids' books. I have a book about food allergies that I did with Sally Huss. And then I have a new little children's book called Blueberry and Jam Adventures in Maine. So I love books. I love children's books, and I love self-help books. I love all books, but those are the two. Yeah, I'm just a book person, I guess. That's a really good couple words for it. Yeah.
I've gotten into audiobooks a lot, though, because I drive so much.
Yeah.
I'm currently reading the one written by Henry Ford, My Way, My Work.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. If you ever get a chance to completely sidebar now, if you ever get a chance to read any of these books that were written by these guys from that were born in the early 1900s and lived through the Depression or ran companies through the Depression, and you hear the way they talk, you're like, we're still talking this way today.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting to hear, like Henry Ford talks a lot in his book about, hey, if you want something, you got to go work for it. You got to get up in the morning. You got to go to work. You got to do this. Today, that same person would be like, oh, he's going to be on Fox TV. He's going to be on these channels. But back then, he was the richest man in the world, and he was just telling you, look, I ran a farm with 40 acres, and I hated it. But I saw these engines, and I thought they were cool, so I made cars. It's a very interesting book.
Yeah, no, it is. And there's always so much to learn from other people, and no matter what, I think books are timeless, was my point there. I think
I agree.
There's so much to learn and not enough time to learn it all.
Now, so you get into, you throw your hat into the ring here, and don't be afraid. All my notes are on my left-hand screen.
No, you're okay. That's
fine. I've had guests like, hey, why you keep looking over there? Because this is where all my notes are.
It's all good.
They're over here on this screen. So, but as you're getting into all these things, what were some of, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are in similar positions like yourself that are like, okay, I'm done with this. I got to go back to the grind. I got to go back to this. And they have something in their mind or in their head that they believe others could benefit from their own successes.
Yeah.
What were some of, other than the naysayers, which we've already know that they were wrong, but other than the naysayers, what were some of the challenges that you faced that were things that you didn't even realize were going to come up?
Probably money. I think that's something that stops people too. When you have a passion to turn it into a career, past a hobby, there's always money involved, and money. I called myself husband funded for a really long time. Like, it just is what it is. And so, I don't know if people always have the luxury of following a dream, especially when it's a creative dream, to write a book or paint a painting or bake cookies or things like that. It can be really tricky to turn that into income. And so I think it stops people sometimes. And if you can, I think it's important to understand that you really have to work hard. Startups and ideas and things like that. I work a lot, a lot. and even when back then it was, it felt like it was 24 hours a day for a while, because it's your own and there's nobody helping you and things like that. So, it can be hard to get other people. It can be hard to get other people on board with your vision, which is one of the reasons why I wrote the Success Guidebook finally, to talk about, if you can see it, then other people can see it. But if you can't see it fully for yourself, people have a hard time visualizing it with you and helping it come to life. So I think it's very, very important that when you're seeing something for yourself, if you can, share it with other people, talk about it, set goals, talk about your goals vocally and things like that, because people show up for you and help you along the way. And so that was one thing I didn't anticipate. I thought I was going to be in it alone and doing this alone. And all of a sudden, all of these wonderful, amazing people started showing up. And it's like, hey, I've got something to say on your website. Hey, could you interview me on your podcast? Could you do this or that and another thing? And it really illustrated the point of, it's not I and me, it's us and we. And we're just one giant collaboration.
I love it.
And that's what makes me the happiest. And that's why I do what I do.
And look, folks, if you're joining us and you have questions for Elizabeth, please put them in the chat. She's happy to answer those questions. And I'm looking over here at your book, released just let's see, April 23rd. That book was released, The Success Guide, How Visualization, Actualization, and Amplifies You. Now I feel like visualization has had a lot of different names over the decades and everything. I'm a person that will say to somebody, well, visualization is prayer. I'm a Methodist. I believe in prayer, and visualization to me is prayer. What do you think is so difficult for people when it comes to visualizing? Like, why can't, I see it, like, hey, I want to be this. I want to go and do this. I need to just constantly think about it. And it causes me to do actions and push that way. But what is so hard for people to visualize and then actualize? Because I think there's a bridge there that gets lost.
Yeah, there's a number of things. I think one of the things that stops a lot of people is confidence, for sure. You can kind of see it, but you get lost in the steps of how to get to what you're trying to do. So, getting from here to there is tricky, and maintaining your self-confidence and your plan and your goals and your dreams and so forth, with all the things that impact that, is probably the hardest. Those are the hardest things that hit visualization. And I talk in the book about, let's say, for example, a little, I can just say my own son, I'll use him, Cam. He's been playing baseball since he was 6, could sit up and throw with that left hand. He was just born to pitch. You could just tell it right from a little kid.
Left-handed pitcher at that.
Left-handed pitcher. And you would see throughout his career, he plays in Germany now, but you would see throughout his career that people would say, no, you need to quit playing. You're never going to be this. You're never going to be that. You're good at that. You're bad at that. People feel like it's free game to tell you what they think. And that can stop somebody's dream and visualization quicker than anything. So maintaining that for yourself, maintaining your vision through all of that, is very, very important. Maintaining your dream, your vision, your goals, and so forth through all the things. That's why I talk about, like, back to bubble wrap and earplugs, like la 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 la.
That's so great. I love that. Bubble wrap and earplugs. Now for you, for the visualization side to it, you get into, and I don't know if this is just me being a guy. Sometimes, like, I think vision boards are stupid.
So a lot of people think vision boards are stupid.
That's me. But okay. I like journals. I like journaling. Yeah. I think journaling makes sense. Write it down so you can get it from here to here. There's an effort involved in it. But and don't be mad at me because I said
no. People hate vision boards. People hate journaling. I think what is important to what you're saying right there is, however you're going to visualize, figure it out for yourself. Right. So if it's, I need to talk to myself and say, I'm the best, I'm going to be a baseball player, I'm going to, la, 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 that kind of thing. Or if I need to have it plastered on the wall, or if I need to hear it, if I need to write it, whatever it is to keep your vision going, is very important.
I'm all about that.
Sometimes with teams, what I'll do is I'll say, okay, so you want to get everybody to the World Series. I get it. Let's say baseball. We're going there, college baseball World Series. So I'll say, okay, we need a spot on the wall where everybody can see that and visit it every day. And we're going to go through that every day so that you incorporate it into your being that you already are. And a lot of the times you'll land pretty close, if not going there. You see it over and over and over again. So that's the type of visualization I'm talking about a lot, is putting it in one format or another so that you see it, you visit it. If you've got teammates, they're all on the same page, understanding what their certain aspects of the, how they're going to participate. Because not everybody's a pitcher, not everybody's a catcher, not everybody's a great runner. Some guys are just great to have beside you on the bench because they're funny or whatever it is. But everybody has a role to play. And the important thing there is everybody's mindset is on the same page of, we're going to the College World Series this year.
Now you talked, and again, folks, if you want to see about Elizabeth's book, again, besteveryou.com, check out what she's got going there. But you talk a little bit about, you do have your master coaching. Is it a license certificate? What's the best way to describe that? Because I have certified master coach.
Yeah, it's a certification that I have. I've put in a lot of hours.
I was going to ask about that. Like how does that? Because I think a lot of people are like, I can help that person out. Let me tell you what you need to do. And then in the reality, you're like, bro, you still sleep on your grandma's couch in the basement. Why are you trying to coach me? Like that's such a, to me, coaching. Like I'm going to tell on myself a little bit.
It's all right.
I always feel like I need one, but I think I'm the worst person to try to coach because I have so much going on. That organizational piece. Like, if you leave me alone, I'll organize it.
Mhm.
I'm of that mindset. Give me a moment. Let me organize it. But when people are like, oh, I need you to go ahead and sit down and write me down 10 things that you feel like in the next 10 years you can go ahead and accomplish. But I want you to do it all left-handed. Let's get that side of the brain activated. Like, do you know what I'm talking
I
about? Like,
do.
you know what I'm
It's like the cliche life coachy bizarre
Thank you.
stuff. Yeah, no, that's definitely not who I am at all. At all.
Yay.
And yeah, no, way more fun than that. That's not going to work. I ask a lot of questions of people. Sometimes have to play in the weeds a little bit to get to get you going. Depends. I've had people come into my coaching. I do a little exercise with people. I'm like, just give me a general idea of who you are and how you feel in each of these categories of your life, kind of thing. And I had one lady go, I'm a 0 in everything. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here. Let's talk about maybe like a 3, a 4, 5, 6, or is it as bad, so you go back and is it as bad as you think, kind of thing. And I'm like, let's do that again. And she's like, okay, 5 in each area. Not horrible, but room to go to a 10, kind of thing, or a 9
Right.
or something like that, room to go. But, life coaching is unregulated.
What do you mean?
So I mean that anybody can be a life coach. Like, you could hang up this phone call and say, I'm a life coach. My name's Sean and I'm a life coach. So you want to check and make sure that
what I mean.
if you hire a life coach, you want to check and make sure they're either with ICF or CPCC after their name, like CPC after their name, or CPCC. Okay. I have CMC. I'm a certified master coach. It means that I've done an extreme amount of hours coaching people, training, and so forth. I also have degrees from college and things like that I've done, and I've also gone to Harvard Leadership School. So yeah, no, I had fun doing that. But I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to pretend that we're going to go back into your childhood and fix everything or anything like that. I'd like to know things about you. Tell me, yeah, I'd like to know things about you. But in general, a life coach moves people forward, and yeah, we might have to know things about you and so forth to do that. But we move people forward. I specialize in gratitude, change, and success, because when people come into my coaching, generally what I see is they want to change something or they want to feel more successful. And what I do is I root people in gratitude, which means I root you in abundance. For example, the person who wrote a 0, we're going to be like, no, we're more abundant than that. We're going to go to like a higher level, higher energy, higher opinion of ourselves, things like that, and go from there, and work toward that sticking. But yeah, no, I focus on change and success and kind of stay in those lanes of leadership.
Interesting.
I'm more of a leadership and success coach. There's lots of there's money coaches. There's a life coach for everything. It's a huge industry. And I think everybody needs a coach. And the beautiful thing about somebody else is they see it from a different perspective. There's a completely different set of eyes on whatever's going on with you. And, or whatever, it doesn't have to be something wrong. That's I think the stigma. It doesn't have to be something wrong to bring in a life coach. It could be you want to do something amazing or maintain something amazing. Coaches, the best athletes in the world have coaches. Right. Managers have coaches. So coaches are kind of fun. I have 2 mentors who have taught me a lot about things: Gary Kobat and Barbara Wainwright.
What does the name Wainwright sound so familiar to me?
She owns Wainwright Global Coaching, and she certifies so many people with the CPC designation, and so I'm kind of an extension of her as a master coach, and I actually train people now to become life coaches. So they go through my class and things like that. So yeah, I love life coaching. Of all of the things I do, I think I like being an author more. But it all works together. I love talking with people about my books and going through the exercises, and it's just fun. I love writing books.
Well, I was going to say before we
That
get
was long, sorry. Went
no,
on and on.
what I was going to say before we get into the books again. So because you have that ability to train somebody or to have somebody become certified through you
Yeah.
in a coaching process, if somebody was interested in that, how would they reach out to you?
They just go to besteveryou.com and click on coaching. And all of our coaches that we've trained are on there, and they can hire us, or if they want to take a class, it's on there too. Really easy.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, besteveryou.com has like everything on it. The web designer's like, there's a lot on this website. And I'm like, yes, you could sit on the website for a long time and learn. There's free articles and the podcast and coaching and books and all sorts of stuff on there.
You got a little bit of everything on here.
Yeah.
And you got the successguidebook.com, Blueberry and Jam. That's the kids book, right?
That's a kids book, yeah.
And then compliant.
That thing took 15 months to do.
I was going to ask you about that because I think a lot of people think they have like.
I have it right here. I'll show you.
Yeah, let me see.
Look how cute this is.
I love it. Well, I'm going to be, it's going to be 2 years from now before I'm in Maine.
Oh.
Don't be mad at me for what I'm going to Maine for, but the year I turn 50, my son turns 30, and we hunt together. So
nice.
We're going to Maine for a guided bear hunt.
That's where you go.
It is so exciting. And you know what's funny? Again, left turn here for a moment, folks.
Okay.
Cost wise, it's going to cost us. I'm paying for both of us. For both of us to go really isn't bad because it's 5 days, it's meals, it's lodging, it's them taking us out. When we take a bear, it's like they do everything for the price of
regulated and things. Yeah.
Oh, it's like, I'm like, they've got this figured out, like down to a science.
Yeah.
Out there. But to the kids book, and again, you have 4 sons. I got 4. Well, between my wife and I, we got 8 kids.
Wow.
But we're a blended family. But by myself, I have 4 sons.
Awesome.
So I respect that completely.
Love boys.
But mine are oldest right now is 28. The youngest is 6.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it.
So back over to Blueberry and Jam for a second.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people that have written children's books and they think like, I got this children's book in mind. But I feel like children's books, because you're talking to a different type of an audience and you have to have a narrator that understands what you're doing. Going into this, what were some of the challenges that you were like, wait a sec, I thought I could just do this and it would be fine. Like, what were some of the things you ran into with this?
Well, I can't draw at all.
Man,
so that's a huge challenge. I'm terrible, my artist. Like, no. So hiring somebody to do this, I took probably 4 months. Well, it's taken a long time actually, because this is a redo of an original book. And finding the right illustrator really took a long time. But this is a 75-page children's book.
Wow.
So it's illustrated so beautifully and things like that. But I think illustrating children's book is probably the hardest thing, and then putting it all together and so forth. This one's self-published. And I think a lot of people have ideas for children's books, and I think it's great. I put mine up on Amazon. There's like 13 million books. So you have to remember, when you do books, you have to market them and sell them. I think most books sell about 250 copies, and then they kind of fizzle out, which is friends, family, whatever, social media following and so forth. So it's noisy out there with books, but in general, books are like owning a racehorse. They're expensive.
I was waiting for where that was going.
Yeah,
I was like,
they're expensive. Yeah, no, they're expensive. You don't know if they're gonna, hit, and boy, they're just a lot of work.
Now, see, you've got a classroom donation pack here.
Yeah.
Have you gone into any schools and read it for kids yet?
Actually, somebody just ordered a bunch of books. It's hard to read it because it's 75 pages. Like, it's hard for me to go in as an author, but that's just kicking up. I just got a request actually today to do that with a story time. But I did mail out like 30 books to a classroom here in Maine. And so, yeah, no, I love that. So if there's a classroom that wants the book, I'm all All ears.
I listen. And again, folks, you can find her on besteveryou.com. I know it might sound cliche, just keep saying it, but you've got just so, I mean,
there's a lot.
you've got so much going on here and so many great things.
The cool thing about this too is for teachers, it's got a lot of blueberries. So I did you could do a blueberry unit.
Oh, cool.
Or a Maine unit that the book takes the characters all throughout the state of Maine to all the different landmarks. So the cat and the mouse travel all throughout Maine and visit all the different things and sites in Maine. I'll show you, like, here's fishing up in Grand Lake Stream, and it's landmarks. Anyway, that's that book.
The only thing fun. The only things two things about Maine that I know are Bar Harbor has the highest shift in tides, like level wise, in the entire planet, I believe. I know it's North America, but it could be the planet. The tide rises and falls over 12 feet. I know that.
I believe it. Yeah.
And then I know that in Arcadia,
Arcadia. Yeah.
The beach isn't sand, it's shells. It's actually
and part of it. There's a sandy beach there.
Is there a sandy beach?
Sandy beach, yeah. But there a lot of things are shells.
Yeah, like it's super fine, ground up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get a lot of snow because the Gulf Stream hits into it during the winter time, so it keeps it from getting a ton of snow.
Yeah, Bar Harbor and Acadia are both in the book. Two of my favorite places.
Bar Harbor's cool.
Bar Harbor, yeah, it's very cool. On the top of Cadillac Mountain, and you can see the sunrise.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the restaurant. So I'm a big fat kid that lives in my soul. There was like Rose something was the name of the restaurant that I went to. It was like a great restaurant. So I'm curious though. Now, 4 boys, for them, how do they, when they know that, look, mom's got 150,000 people on Instagram following her. Mom's got books. She's coaching people. She's operating in these different circles than any soccer mom. Yeah. How do they take it? And then I'm also curious for your husband, when this became, and I love that, husband supported to, I got this. What were some of those shifts like for you? Because I think a lot of people worry like, hey, this won't happen, so I'm not going to do this.
Yeah. And I had those worries. I've almost quit a few times, but the kids and my husband are amazing. Actually, I can remember when you didn't have to pay for the check marks. Yes. And I got verified on like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook without the paying of everything. Now you pay for them, but whatever. But the kids were like, that's so cool. You got it, Mom, kind of thing. So they aren't naysayers. They're very cool and they're very supportive. They've been raised with things plastered on the refrigerator, like #gratitude and don't follow the masses, for sometimes the M is silent. And there's funny little sayings that I write on the thing, but they've each had their turn in Best Ever You. Like some of the concepts are designed by the kids.
Really?
Them. We did a whole year on compassion. Cameron wanted the word compassion, like studied and followed and so forth. So I added compassion to things that I do. He's like, people don't have compassion. People need more of it and things like that. So I listen to them. Even on the 444 newsletter that I put out every Monday morning, Quaid helped me write that on Tuesday. Actually, it was a day late this week. So he had a quote he wanted to put in it and things like that. They're the kids are in the books.
That's awesome.
Cam's in the Success, Cam and Quaid are in the Success Guidebook, and Quaid is in the Change Guidebook. But they contribute. They have their stories. We talk about them and everything. And and my husband's in them and reads them. And it's a family endeavor for sure.
Great names so far.
They're Connor, Quinn, Cameron, and Quaid. Connor, Quinn, Cam, Quaid. CQ.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. We do that. We're like, hey, you.
But those are great. Like those are like Cam is your buddy. Quaid's that guy. Like, hey man, I think I'm gonna go upland bird hunting. Call Quaid.
Quaid.
Quaid just sounds like the guy's like, I've already trained the dogs. We're gonna go ahead and go out there.
Yeah.
definitely has
It's funny that the two youngest ones, Cam and Quaid, they just graduated from Georgetown University this past week.
nice.
And they with master's degrees. So yeah, I know. And so
Wow.
three out of the four boys have master's degrees. One's a meteorologist.
Oh, really?
Cam has 2 master's degrees because he played baseball for 6 years due to COVID. So he milked it for all it was worth getting the degrees and stuff. So he has a master's degree in environmental science and sports industry management. And then Quaid, he's like, I'm doing this at Georgetown. And then Quaid has an undergrad in bio and then a degree in pharmacology, master's degree in pharmacology from Georgetown. So they're very different in what they do. And our oldest son is a category manager for a large food service company called PFG. So they all do their own thing. It's very interesting. What connects them is sports and disc golf.
Oh, Leisure
They
Olympics.
love disc golf.
That's,
oh my goodness.
It's part of the Leisure Olympics.
Yes, they love disc golf.
That's
they all love baseball and they all love disc golf.
Well, I was going to say, just hearing but all of those, regardless of what their individual focuses are, those are all things that you're not going to be at those levels again, unless you are visualizing and actualizing those things. So it kind of feeds in, and maybe you answered this already, and it just skipped out of my brain, housing group, but how much, and this is probably horrible to even say, how much did you test or work with some of these ideas? Because young brains can be very difficult to deal with to start with.
Yeah.
But how much of this were you like, let me see if this works with my kids? And if it works with them, I can coach somebody using this. And I'm talking more process driven.
Yeah. No, I agree. I very much so, because we would both watch them as young people to see what they were going to do. You could tell they showed who they were very young. In other words, the meteorologist, he was always looking up at the stars and interested in the weather. And he became a meteorologist. Cam always threw things in a kind way, always throwing.
Hey, you.
Yeah. And Quaid tinkered and learned and was on the internet and building and how things work and things like that. And Connor was, the boss. And so you saw what they were going to do. And, they've been raised with Best Ever You. Did some of the mindset stuff work? Maybe, but I never said, you're going to be all Best Ever You. We didn't force them to do anything Best Ever You, but I think you get it through, just osmosis of being around us, kind of thing. You're right.
It was dinner table conversation.
It sure is. Yeah.
You're talking with your husband. Hey, I wrote this chapter, I wrote this page, I worked with somebody today. So they're hearing those type of things every day. But you know what? It brings to mind to me as parent to parent that the more positive things or progressive things that you talk with around your kids,
you're modeling all the time.
Exactly, there it is, modeling. You're modeling the right behavior for them.
We're trying to anyway. Yeah.
And folks, as you're joining us, we just got a nice group that just joined in. Please take a moment. If you have questions for Elizabeth, we're talking about her books, her podcast. It's all about, we're talking about visualization, actualizing and amplifying, like in her book, The Success Guidebook. Yeah. Please like and share this stuff. If you have questions, maybe you yourself are looking for hey, I'm trying to get over a hurdle or trying to get into something, and you have a question for Elizabeth right now, please put that in the chat. We'd love to hear what it is. There's plenty of you out there right now listening. So we're getting close to the end of close. I hate it when the bar's almost time to close, because I always feel like I got a million more questions to go. But so what is some of the next steps for you? Obviously the book just came out. Imagine there's some tour dates or conversations coming up with that. Anything coming up where people could see you live?
Yeah, we're working on that actually. That just started today. Nice. I was talking to Books A Million today, and we're going to be doing some things with Books A Million. I do book signings at Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, and if anybody, I'm open to anything. If people want me to come in and give books to your office or something like that, or talk, or what, I'm totally open to whatever, wherever it goes. But we've done lots of things over the years, mostly book signings. But no, I'm here
Now,
but I'll announce that as we go. The book comes out, I think, officially June 1st.
okay.
So it's not out yet. On Amazon, you can get the ebook, but the paperback isn't fully out yet. It gets released in its final version on June 1st. And then it's also going to be an audiobook. I taped the audiobook a few months. Yeah, I did both the Change Guidebook and the Success Guidebook audiobooks. That's not easy, you know that? Talk about some bar conversation. Holy moly, they put you in a studio and you're yapping for 4 days. That's hard.
Why is my thing not working? Hold on a sec. I'm having a failure right now. I'm supposed to be getting laser beams right now. And for some reason, they're not working.
No,
they're not working. Oh, like my thumbs up isn't working. Nothing's working. Oh, well.
Cool,
but so now it's interesting. You're talking about the audio and some of the folks that are popping on. Stefan, this is right up your alley because you need to visualize. You need a lot of visualization in your life to understand that you're always going to be chasing me. So
you, buddy.
He's a good buddy of mine. We used to call him Sexual Chocolate. He's ridiculous. He's hilarious. A good dude. But I'm curious. So you read your own audiobook?
Yeah, I did. And that is, you know how when you're reading a book, you skim over parts?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And naturally film. It's really, and I wrote every word of it too, but reading every word of it out loud is a very different thing. And you catch your mistakes and your edit, you're like, oh, I didn't mean to say that way or whatever. But yeah, it's very different reading every single word of a book, but fun. But yeah, lots of tea and honey going to that.
You wish you would have had somebody else do it.
No.
You're glad that you read your own.
It sparked a new passion for me, actually. I love reading audiobooks. So I'm like, if there's anybody else who wants me to read their audiobook, I'm all in. So much fun.
See,
but hard.
Every time I talk to somebody who's written a book, it always comes up that I've got a book. I love you too there, Stefan. Yeah. But look, folks, if y'all want to go find somebody, go find Stefan. He will help you. And I'm a firm believer in this. He will help you find your path back to God. It's something that I don't care who you are. You can believe anything you want to believe. If you believe in, and I was going to talk to you about this. Do you believe in visualization? Hey, folks, that's called prayer. Just depends upon who you are. Prayer is visualization. That is saying out into the world, no matter what you believe in, what's going on. So go follow my man, Stefan Smith Hawthorne. He puts out podcasts and videos, and
I'll have to check him out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
On the prayer thing, huge. I was raised. So my father passed away, but my father was Catholic and my mom was Presbyterian. So I was raised alternating churches. Yeah, I'm from Iowa, and I was raised alternating churches every week.
Now, what is going on in Iowa and Idaho? Talk to me.
Which one? Say that again.
Idaho and Iowa.
Oh, you know what? I was Miss Iowa. I got to tell you this. I was Miss Iowa teen 100,000 years ago, right? Like in a long time ago.
But we'll go with it.
So yeah, go all the way back into the 80s, and I was Miss Iowa teen, and I went to the national pageant, which was in Hawaii that year. And I did okay and all this stuff, but Miss Idaho won. And I got on the plane with my Iowa stuff on. Everybody's like, "Yeah, way to go!" And I'm like, "No, Iowa." Iowa.
Wow.
Idaho won. But I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Teen.
Yeah, I was Miss Teen Iowa. 150,000 years ago.
Let's see if I can find pictures of this.
It's on my website. It's actually on elizabethguarino.com. I don't know.
I don't know. It's not on. I have a Miss. No, that's somebody.
Mrs. Maine.
Were you Miss Maine too?
I was, yeah. In
wow.
2006 and 2011. Yeah, so much fun.
Look at you.
Yeah, I love
that's
pageants.
Interesting. So
I love the community. I don't love the pageant so much. On a big hair day, I'm like 5'3". So that part of it, I'm not 5'10" or 5'9" or whatever. I'm 5'3". So that part of pageants is tricky. But I love the community service aspect of pageants. And pageants in the state of Maine enabled me to go around and donate cookies and do story times. That's where the children's books come in, read books to kids and do all this fun stuff. And I also, because my father's a stroke survivor, did stroke awareness.
Well, and remind everybody, what's the acronym for strokes that we all should remember?
Oh, goodness gracious.
You remember?
I have it. I actually have that on the refrigerator, but it's what did you say?
Is it AIM?
Oh, you're going to, I can't remember offhand. I just looked at that today actually too, but it's in general, if somebody starts to slur their words, just call 911, like 911.
Be fast.
Be really fast, because
balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, time.
Everything. Yeah. What's the acronym for it?
It's be fast.
Be fast. Yeah.
Balance, eyes, face, arm, speech, time.
Mostly what you notice is most of the time is droopy and speech and like almost a paralyzation type thing. Just if somebody starts talking funny in your presence, like the droopy and the just their words aren't coming out right. Just call 911. Every single nanosecond matters with strokes. But I actually have a different thing on my refrigerator. It's just stroke awareness. Call 911, and then if you see speech and all these things that you're talking about.
I do got to ask you though. I didn't realize the whole pageant thing.
Yeah.
And I find that, to me, I feel like that's a level of confidence that takes that most people look. We've all heard
down backstage.
Right. We've all heard the jokes. We've seen the movies and whatnot. But I mean, to physically walk out on that stage in front of God and everyone
in Las Vegas.
Okay, I didn't even know that. In Las Vegas,
in a swimming suit at age whatever the heck it was, not in my 20s, was.
And I did find your picture. Explore the life. I explored life and business with Elizabeth Hamilton of the Best Ever Network, Voyage Minnesota magazine.
Yeah,
they've got your picture up there. But how do you think that experience moving forward and even to the, like, you know what, I came up with best ever you, I'm leaving. Like,
it's not going to be the answer you think.
No, please.
Because I think up to that point, I think I needed the maybe the attention or the confidence kind of thing. And they actually taught me that I didn't need that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It actually taught me, I'm like, okay, I don't need this. I don't need to wear a crown and banner around and all this stuff, but it was fun to engage the community and do the books and the kid, and read books to kids and things like that. But I didn't need the attention as far as appearance and so forth goes, like I thought I did. I'm like,
they were almost a mask for you. So they were almost like a mask or a shield behind.
Yeah, a little bit. It was interesting. I thought I needed something at that point, and it was like, no, you need to. What it did was it made me write books.
Okay.
I'm like that. I don't know. I think about it a lot. I'm like, okay, why did I do that exactly? What was the point and purpose of that, and so forth? And to me, the point and purpose was I had just moved to Maine, and I was trying to get involved with the community and trying to engage the community and do what I knew how to do, which was make a lot of chocolate chip cookies and read do story times with kids and things like that. What I didn't account for in all of that was the pageant part, which the gowns, the interviews, the clothing, the high heels, and all that stuff that goes with the, like the modeling aspects of that is not who I am. And I didn't realize that it was that involved. Right. And so I was like, oh, I don't like that part. So, live and learn kind of thing. The second time I was Mrs. Maine was a totally different experience. It wasn't about gowns and pageants. It was completely community service for me.
Okay.
I was like, I could care less what my gown. Yeah, I could have. But I did win the Go Red for Women Online vote. What is that? I raised $10,000 for Go Red for Women.
What is Go Red?
Stroke and heart awareness for women.
Okay.
Yeah. So I raised money, and it all got donated to the Go Red, where you wear red for heart and
Okay.
stroke awareness. Yeah.
Gotcha. So like there's a big thing,
Yeah.
Red Fridays for the service members to recognize, you
Yeah.
know, injuries and wounded warriors and stuff like that. So you wear red on Fridays.
Yeah. This
Uh,
is like once a year. Yeah. It's Go Red.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those groups. You ever heard of the Red Hatters Club?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. Interesting.
Wow.
See, I'm
Yeah.
learning. You are educating me on so many things today, Elizabeth.
I haven't actually thought about all this stuff for so long. It's pretty funny. I'm like trying to remember those stroke, signs and things like that, but it's okay.
I'm glad that I can help you out with these
Thank you for
things.
that.
I'm here for you. I'm here to make sure you remember all the things that you go. See, that's why we say it's above the bar conversation, because these are all the things that some idiot like me sitting at the bar would be like, "Hey, Elizabeth, how the hell did you do that there?" And you're like, I don't remember. What is this guy talking about?
Yeah. My father was a stroke survivor from 2004 to 2018. So he had a stroke right in the middle of the living room. So my brother saved his life by calling 911. He had a stroke.
Like a full legit, like grandma's seizure kind of thing.
A stroke. Just
not the same. Are they not the same?
No, they're not the same. But yeah, full on stroke. Clot to the brain, type brain bleed from the heart through a clot. And so that my first book is Percolate, Let Your Best Self Filter Through, and it's a Hay House book, and it's a lot about my dad's survival and people's survival when they encounter something that they didn't, like a club you didn't want to join, or something you didn't want to have happen that you definitely didn't ask for, and it's how to navigate that and how to turn that pain or situation into a purposeful life. And from there, I wrote the Change Guidebook, which is all about the 10 points of change and how we navigate change as human beings, whether you ask for it or not, a little bit more in depth there. And then the next one is this one out now, the Success Guidebook.
Well,
so they all incorporate change.
I got to pause you for a second.
Yeah.
Would you go back to the Change book for a second?
The Percolate or the Change Guidebook?
The Change book.
Yep.
You're going to brush by this book like, I wrote this one. Can we, for a moment,
this book.
Silver Award,
Yep.
Nautilus Book Award, Personal Growth and Self-Help category, 2023 Book Excellence Award, Inspirational category,
yep.
Silver Award 2022, the Global Book Award winner, winner of the 2022 International Book Award for Non-Fictional Inspirational category. Let's not blow past this for a moment.
This book's won major awards.
Like this is no crap. Like this is like legit. Like, listen, folks, go buy a copy right now. Stop being a nudgina and go buy a copy so you can make a better you.
Yeah, this one really focuses on how we navigate change and cope with change as human beings, whether you wanted the change or not, whether it's deliberate or something you didn't sign up for. This takes you right through it. It's actually a master class too. So you can get a master class certification in change management. Yeah, there's a little test at the end of the book, like discussion and master class. And you just submit it online at besteveryou.com/change guidebook. But all of my books, these last two anyway, Change and Success, the way they're structured is narrative from me, 2 stories from contributors, and then 2 exercises. Okay. And so each chapter is that way. Each book has 10 chapters. And so you really put into practice what we're talking about. And I feel like the topics of change and success are so big that I didn't want to leave people alone. So with each point, there's 2 stories from people who have gone through it or have navigated it or whatever. So there's between these 2 books, there's 40 contributors or more.
That's awesome.
Who share stories. Yeah, it's amazing.
That's
and
awesome.
They're all ages too, like from teenagers to 85-year-olds, all everywhere, all walks of life in the books.
Yeah. Now, our Nate left us beforehand. Who knows what he's doing right now? So I'm going to take care of Nate's normal question real quick here for you. And then we'll get ready to close the bar. Don't log off on me afterwards. So I know what Nate would have asked you, but I always have to adjust his questions. So you're in Maine. Yep. Here's going to be my question. I'm going to Maine in 2 years. What do I need to go eat when I get to Maine?
Oh, wow.
What's
the easy
meal?
answer is lobster.
Okay.
The trickier answer is a whoopie pie.
I know what a whoopie pie is.
Yeah, you got to go get a whoopie. Yeah, it's a main thing. And a needham is another thing. It's like a potato candy.
A needham.
Yeah. You go into
Not that I want them, but I need them.
You need them.
I need them. I don't want them, huh?
Yeah. But, you know, if you're coming up here, hello, everybody at the Lobster Shack in Cape Elizabeth. You got to go to the Lobster Shack in Cape Elizabeth.
Spot?
Yeah, it's cliffside. It's gorgeous. I take everybody who comes to Maine there for lobster.
All right.
And it's beautiful. It's just an absolutely gorgeous spot. But, you know, if you don't, I don't know if you like kids' books or not, but if you follow the route of blueberry and jam, it's a perfect route.
Is it a good eating route?
Yeah, it's a good eating route. It's a good
look, that's what I need.
Eating route, but it's a kid's book kind of thing. But
it's perfect for me.
You can't go wrong. And I love Popham Beach. That's a beautiful spot. Old Orchard Beach. And then
you've been to Old Orchard.
Yeah.
Is that like Southern Maine?
Yeah, Southern Maine.
Yeah, because
and then
we were in New Hampshire and then went up there.
Yeah, and then you can't go wrong if you're here in the summer with the farmers markets and little roadside garden stands and things like that. There's a ton of stuff to do here. But my mom comes here and we go strawberry picking in Cape Elizabeth, and it's so much fun. Yeah.
Now look, folks, we got to get ready to close everything up. Miss Elizabeth needs to go and write 2 more books, do 5 more podcasts. She's got about 1 billion things going on. Take the time. I need everyone to go follow besteveryou.com. You can find her social media on there. Again, the Instagram page, that was Best Ever You, correct? At Best Ever You.
I'm Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino or Best Ever You, wherever.
So take the time, go follow, go see what she's got going on, see the inspirational things that are happening for her. If you're finding us through Elizabeth or Elizabeth through us, all I ever ask of you is take a moment, like, share, follow. We're on all your social media platforms. See what we've got going on. See what we have happening. Next week, Elizabeth, you may want to show up next week.
I will.
I'm
a fan. Thank you for having me on.
Because we have a gentleman coming on named Jack Treadway. This is like the real Jack Reacher.
Oh, cool. I love that show.
He was an OSI counterintelligence officer involved in removal of over 100 insurgents in Iraq in 2007. And they actually like enough that he was targeted by the enemies. You need to go find him. He needs to go away kind of guy. Survived teammates, people coming after him, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to be talking to him next week, seeing what he's got going on. So
does he have to disguise himself or anything? Or can he just be himself?
That's a great question.
I'm wondering if he's going to come on with sunglasses and,
I don't know. No one told me. I didn't even think to ask.
You're going to have a blurred out screen.
I might have to. He might be my first ever guest.
Change him.
All you're going to hear is listen, I can't tell you anymore. It'll sound like what's that? EMR or ASMR? It'll sound like an ASMR interview the entire time. Listen, to go ahead and
he's sitting in the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, so you got to have to join us. I'm so that to me. Doing 20 years in the Marine Corps, the big kid inside of me is you did what?
Yeah,
I worked in recruiting. You did what? Yeah. So as always, folks, make sure you're giving our guests a like, a follow, a share. It's that important to them. It's that important to us. That's how the bar grows. That's how the bar gets bigger. That's how their world gets bigger. And we all get to grow involved in that. But now, and we talked about this beforehand. I know, Elizabeth, you have binged all 230 some episodes of this. You're completely immersed in all the culture that's involved. But I'm just going to remind you of this already, so that you're prepared for it. And please don't log off afterwards. I just want to talk to you for a moment. The guest always gets the final word. So what's our final word tonight, Elizabeth?
Oh, geez. Just love each other. I think just when you're out and about, stop, pause, and have some compassion for other people. Treat each person that you meet with kindness, elegance, grace, compassion, and a sense of collaboration, because we all need each other and we are not entitled to time.
Alrighty, folks, be sure to push your stool in. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.